Building Better Lives with Tony Robbins.
Today, I want to talk about something that has the potential to change your life forever. In fact, after this, you will change how you do everything. You will see the world differently, think differently, and most importantly, act differently. This is not just about motivation, it's about transformation. And it all starts with one thing, a shift in perspective. The invisible lens that shapes your life. Every single one of us sees the world through a unique lens, a mental filter shaped by our upbringing, experiences, beliefs, and past conditioning. This lens determines how we interpret events, how we respond to challenges, and ultimately how successful or fulfilled we become. Think about it, two people can go through the exact same situation and come out with completely different outcomes. One sees failure, the other sees an opportunity to grow. One sees obstacles, the other sees stepping stones. The difference, perspective. Your perspective controls your reality. It determines whether you react with fear or courage, whether you give up or persist, and whether you remain stagnant or invest in the best version of yourself. The good news, your perspective is not fixed. It can be changed, molded, and refined, giving you the power to shape your destiny. The science behind perspective shift. Neuroscience has proven that our brains are wired to reinforce our existing beliefs. This phenomenon, called confirmation bias, means that we unconsciously seek out information that supports what we already believe while ignoring evidence that contradicts it. This can be a double-edged sword. If you believe you are incapable, your brain will find reasons to justify that belief. If you believe the world is full of opportunities, your brain will actively seek those opportunities. The way you see the world literally changes what you experience. But here's where it gets powerful. You can rewire your brain. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself, allows us to create new neural pathways by consciously shifting our thoughts and perspectives. This means that with intentional effort, you can transform your mindset and in turn your reality. The stories that prove perspective is everything. To illustrate the power of perspective, let me share 3 real-life stories that will challenge the way you view failure, adversity, and limitations. 1. Thomas Edison, failure as a stepping stone. When Thomas Edison was inventing the light bulb, he famously failed over 1,000 times. Most people would have seen those failures as proof that their goal was impossible. But Edison's perspective was different. When asked about his repeated failures, he responded, "I have not failed. I've just found 1,000 ways that won't work." Edison understood that failure was not the opposite of success. It was a necessary part of the journey to success. His perspective transformed every setback into a lesson. Because of that, he changed the world. Now ask yourself, how do you view failure? Do you see it as the end, or do you see it as a stepping stone to something greater? 2. Oprah Winfrey turning pain into power. Oprah Winfrey's early life was filled with hardship. She faced poverty, abuse, and rejection. She was even fired from her first television job because she was told she wasn't fit for TV. Most people in her situation would have let those experiences define them. But Oprah chose a different perspective. She saw every painful experience as fuel to become stronger. She reframed adversity as preparation for her destiny. Today, she is one of the most influential and successful people in the world. Her story proves that our past does not dictate our future unless we allow it to. So ask yourself, are you using your struggles as excuses, or are you using them as fuel? 3. Nick Vujicic, defying limitations. Nick Vujicic was born without arms and legs. Most people would assume that his life was destined to be filled with limitations. But instead of focusing on what he lacked, he chose to focus on what he had: his mind, his heart, and his voice. Today, he is a world-renowned motivational speaker, author, and inspiration to millions. He travels the world, proving that our circumstances do not define us, our perspective does. Whatever challenges you face, remember, you have the power to rewrite your story simply by shifting your perspective. How to shift your perspective in everyday life. You might be thinking, this sounds great, but how do I actually change my perspective? Here are 3 actionable steps you can take right now. 1, reframe the narrative. Whenever you face a challenge, ask yourself, what is another way to look at this? Instead of saying, I have to do this, say, I get to do this. Instead of thinking this is happening to me, think this is happening for me. Words shape thoughts, and thoughts shape reality. Change the way you describe your experiences, and you'll change the way you feel about them. 2, surround yourself with the right influences. Your perspective is shaped by what you consume: books, conversations, social media, and the people you surround yourself with. If you constantly expose yourself to negativity, you will develop a negative outlook. If you surround yourself with growth-oriented individuals, you will naturally develop a growth mindset. Audit your environment. Are you feeding your mind with empowering perspectives, or are you allowing negativity to cloud your vision? 3, practice gratitude daily. Gratitude is one of the most powerful ways to shift perspective. When you focus on what you have instead of what you lack, your entire outlook changes. Every day, write down 3 things you are grateful for. This simple practice will train your brain to see abundance instead of scarcity, opportunities instead of obstacles, and solutions instead of problems. The ultimate truth: you are in control. At the end of the day, the most life-changing realization you can have is this: you are in control of how you see the world. No one else, not your past, not your circumstances, and not other people's opinions. Only you. When you change the way you see things, the things you see will change. When you shift your perspective, you unlock new possibilities. You step into a version of yourself that is stronger, wiser, and more capable than you ever imagined. We talked about the power of perspective shift, how the way we see the world can determine our reality and success. But perspective alone is not enough. Even if you have the right mindset, you need the right habits to back it up. Because no matter how inspired or motivated you feel, if your daily actions don't align with your goals, you will stay stuck. The truth is, most of us are trapped by habits we don't even realize. We have limiting patterns of thought and behavior that keep us in cycles of procrastination, self-doubt, and stagnation. The good news: you can break free. You can reprogram your mind and your habits to create the life you truly want. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. The power of habits in shaping your life. Psychologists have found that over 40% of what we do daily is driven by habits, not conscious decision making. That means nearly half of our actions are on autopilot. If you have good habits, this works in your favor. If you have bad habits, however, this can be your greatest obstacle. Your habits dictate your results. They determine your health, your relationships, your career success, and your overall happiness. The key to transforming your life isn't in one-time grand gestures, it's in the small, repeated actions that add up over time. So let's uncover the hidden habits that may be holding you back and learn how to break free from them once and for all. Why we get stuck in limiting habits. Before we can change a habit, we need to understand why it exists in the first place. They provide comfort. Many bad habits are linked to short-term pleasure. Scrolling on your phone instead of working, eating junk food instead of healthy meals. These habits feel good in the moment but hurt in the long run. They are wired into our brain's reward system. Our brains release dopamine when we engage in behaviors that feel rewarding, even if they're bad for us. This makes breaking bad habits difficult because our brain craves the reward. They were learned in childhood. Many of our habits are formed early in life based on what we observe from parents, teachers, and society. If we grew up seeing unhealthy behaviors as normal, we unconsciously repeat them. We fear change. Breaking habits means stepping out of our comfort zone. Even if a habit is bad for us, we may resist change because it feels unfamiliar or uncomfortable. Now that we understand why limiting habits stick, let's dive into how to break free from them. Step 1, identify your limiting habits. You can't change what you don't acknowledge. The first step to breaking free is identifying the habits that are keeping you stuck. Ask yourself, what habits are preventing me from reaching my goals? What behaviors do I repeat even though I know they're harmful? When do I feel most frustrated with myself? Some common limiting habits include procrastination, negative self-talk, overthinking and self-doubt, comparing yourself to others, fear of failure and perfectionism, unhealthy eating and lack of exercise, spending too much time on social media, avoiding discomfort or difficult conversations. Take a moment to write down the habits that resonate with you. Awareness is the first step toward change. Step 2, understand the habit loop. Every habit follows a 3-part cycle known as the habit loop. Cue triggers something in your environment or emotions triggers the habit. Routine, the habitual action you take. Reward, the benefit or relief you get from it. For example, Habit, checking your phone first thing in the morning. Cue, you wake up. Routine, you grab your phone and scroll through social media. Reward, you get a dopamine hit from new notifications and distractions. Habit, procrastinating on important work. Cue, you feel overwhelmed. Routine, you avoid the task by watching TV or browsing the internet. Reward, you feel temporary relief from stress. To break a habit, you must interrupt the loop by changing the routine while keeping the cue and reward. Step 3, replace the habit with a positive one. Breaking a habit isn't just about stopping it, it's about replacing it with something better. Identify the cue. What triggers the habit? Find a positive replacement. What healthier habit can give you a similar reward? Make it easier. Set yourself up for success by removing temptations and making the new habit more accessible. Reward yourself. Reinforce the new habit with a small reward like celebrating your progress. For example, replacing procrastination with productivity. Cue feeling overwhelmed. New routine, take a deep breath and commit to just 5 minutes of work. Reward, a sense of accomplishment. Replacing negative self-talk with confidence. Cue feeling insecure. New routine, say a positive affirmation instead. Reward, a boost in self-belief. Step 4, use the 2-minute rule. One of the biggest reasons people fail to break habits is that they try to change too much too fast. Instead, use the 2-minute rule. Make the new habit so easy that it's impossible to fail. If you want to start exercising, don't commit to an hour-long workout immediately. Start with just 2 minutes of stretching or jogging in place. Once it becomes a habit, you can expand on it. Step 5, stay accountable and track your progress. Change doesn't happen overnight, but consistency makes it inevitable. Track your progress. Use a habit tracker or journal to keep yourself accountable. Find an accountability partner. Share your goals with a friend who can check in on your progress. So aim for perfection. If you slip up, don't get back on track the next day. The life-changing power of breaking free. Imagine of yourself free from limiting habits, a version of yourself that takes action instead of procrastinating, that believes in their abilities, that focuses on growth instead of self-doubt. The version of you exists just on the other side of your current habits. The moment you decide to take control, everything changes. We've already discussed the power of perspective shift, how changing the way we see the world can transform our outcomes. We've also explored the importance of breaking free from limiting habits, the patterns that hold us back from progress. Now we arrive at the third and perhaps most essential element of true transformation, mastering adaptability in an ever-changing world. In today's fast-paced world, adaptability is no longer an option, it is a necessity. The ability to pivot, evolve, and embrace change determines whether we thrive or struggle. The most successful individuals and organizations are those who can quickly adjust to new realities, overcome uncertainty, and take decisive action. The good news, adaptability is a skill, and like any skill, it can be developed. Why adaptability is the ultimate success skill. Change is inevitable. The only constant in life is uncertainty, yet many people resist change due to fear, comfort, or lack of preparation. Navigate uncertainty with confidence. Turn obstacles into opportunities. Stay ahead of trends and shifts in the world. Reduce stress and anxiety caused by change. Maintain resilience in times of crisis. Think about the most successful leaders, entrepreneurs, and innovators of our time: Elon Musk, Oprah Winfrey, Jeff Bezos, Malala Yousafzai. They all share one thing in common: they don't fear change, they embrace it. So let's dive into the key principles of adaptability and how you can develop this powerful trait to change the way you do everything. 1, the mindset shift from resistance to embracing change. Most people fear change because it forces them out of their comfort zone. However, change is not your enemy, stagnation is. Those who resist change often get left behind, while those who embrace it stay ahead. How to develop an adaptable mindset. Reframe change as an opportunity. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, how can this work in my favor? Detach from outcomes. Be open to multiple possibilities instead of clinging to one specific result. Adopt a growth mindset. Believe that skills, intelligence, and success are developed through learning and effort, not fixed traits. A real life example is Netflix. Originally a DVD rental company, Netflix pivoted to streaming and later to original content when the market shifted. Had they resisted change, they would have faded into irrelevance like Blockbuster. Instead, they adapted and thrived. 2, strengthening emotional resilience. One of the biggest obstacles to adaptability is emotional resistance. Many people feel overwhelmed by change, leading to stress and anxiety. But emotional resilience, the ability to bounce back from setbacks, can be cultivated. How to strengthen emotional resilience? Practice self-awareness. Recognize when fear or resistance is holding you back. Develop stress management techniques. Meditation, deep breathing, and mindfulness can help keep emotions in check. Seek support. Surround yourself with people who inspire and encourage adaptability. Reframe failure. See setbacks as stepping stones to success rather than as roadblocks. A powerful example is J.K. Rowling, who faced multiple rejections before finally publishing Harry Potter. Had she given up after her first rejection, she would not have built one of the most successful literary franchises in history. 3, learning to be comfortable with discomfort. One of the hallmarks of adaptable people is their ability to function in uncertain and uncomfortable situations. The more comfortable you become with discomfort, the easier it is to adapt to change. Strategies to embrace discomfort. Take small risks daily. Step outside your comfort zone. Regularly try a new hobby, speak up at a meeting, or travel solo. Expose yourself to new experiences. Engage with different cultures, industries, and ideas to build mental flexibility. Adopt a problem-solving mindset. Instead of seeing problems as obstacles, view them as challenges to overcome. Look at Elon Musk. He has transitioned across industries from PayPal to Tesla to SpaceX, constantly facing unknowns, but embracing discomfort as part of the journey. His adaptability is what keeps him at the forefront of innovation. 4, developing rapid learning skills. The ability to learn quickly is essential for adaptability. In a world where industries evolve overnight, those who can rapidly acquire new skills will always have the upper hand. How to become a fast learner. Stay curious, adopt a beginner's mindset, always seeking knowledge and new perspectives. Read daily, absorb information from books, articles, and thought leaders in your field. Learn from failures, analyze mistakes, and extract lessons instead of dwelling on them. Experiment often. Trial and error is one of the fastest ways to learn new skills. Think of Steve Jobs. He didn't just rely on his technical skills. He studied calligraphy, design, and psychology, which later influenced Apple's iconic user-friendly products. His ability to learn and integrate knowledge made Apple a leader in innovation. 5, staying flexible and open to reinvention. Adaptability isn't just about reacting to change, it's about anticipating it. The most successful individuals reinvent themselves before they are forced to. How to stay flexible. Be proactive, not reactive. Stay ahead of trends and shifts in your industry or personal life. Develop multiple skills. Being multi-skilled makes it easier to pivot when needed. Regularly evaluate your progress. Ask yourself, am I growing or am I stuck? Stay open-minded. Be willing to unlearn old methods and embrace new ones. A great example is Oprah Winfrey. She started as a news anchor, then became a talk show host, then a media mogul, and now a philanthropist. Her willingness to evolve has kept her relevant for decades. 6, turning setbacks into comebacks. The road to success is never smooth, but those who adapt turn setbacks into comebacks. Instead of seeing challenges as failures, they view them as necessary adjustments on the path to success. How to turn setbacks into growth. Analyze setbacks objectively. What can you learn from this situation? Adjust your strategy. If one approach doesn't work, try another. Stay persistent. Success rarely comes on the first try. Keep going. Adopt a long-term vision. Focus on the bigger picture rather than short-term failures. A shining example is Jeff Bezos. Amazon started as an online bookstore, but when the market evolved, he expanded into e-commerce, cloud computing, and AI. His ability to pivot and reinvent Amazon repeatedly has made it one of the world's most powerful companies. Adaptability is the key to thriving. In a world that never stops changing, your greatest superpower is your ability to evolve and reinvent yourself. If you master adaptability, you will never feel stuck. You will never be left behind. You will never fear change because you will become the change. So I leave you with this question: how adaptable are you willing to become? Because after today, I hope you never look at change the same way again. Thank you.